Dan Willis here, and we're talking about how to rebuild your credit. Now, if you're living with a less than perfect credit score, it's essential to know you're not alone. Did you know most Americans would rather tell you how much they weigh than their credit score? It's expensive living with less than perfect credit. You're paying more in interest rates, deposits, car insurance, and more. But you're also stigmatized as if you're a second-class citizen, and we both know that ain't true. While it is true for some folks, they may have less than perfect credit due to some of life's lemons, such as a divorce, job loss, illness, etc. For others, they have less than perfect credit through no fault of their own. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, and many others have studied the accuracy of consumers' credit reports, and they all agree they're anything but accurate. According to a 2012 FTC study and a 60 Minutes segment in 2013, roughly 40 million Americans have errors on their credit reports. This doesn't even account for all the legitimate disputes between consumers and creditors or victims of identity theft, and it ignores the fact that your credit reports aren't even safe today. In case you missed it, the 2017 Equifax hack that resulted in the theft of about 145 million Americans' personal information was committed by the Chinese military. If you're not familiar, China is a communist country with a socialist economy with Chinese characteristics. Every honest student of history will tell you communists and socialists are legit gangsters. They're criminal regimes and have been responsible for the worst episodes of genocide in human history. Estimates conservatively say communism has killed 100 million people in the last 100 years. This is what both world wars, Vietnam, Korea, and many more American armed conflicts were fighting. Now let's talk about the 5 credit score components. Listen, for us to have a valuable conversation about how to rebuild your credit, we need to take a moment to discuss your credit score and how it's calculated. Big picture, your credit score is like your grade point average or GPA in glory school days past. It doesn't matter if you're acing every class, if you're failing gym class. That one negative mark is going to annihilate your overall GPA. This too is true of your credit score. This is why it's so essential to remove any credit report errors, dings, and blemishes, while simultaneously using your current credit accounts and any new lines of credit responsibly in order to build good credit. This is the most efficient way of earning a credit score that truly represents your creditworthiness. And if you'd like some help, you can get a free credit report consultation by calling toll-free 1-844-517-7627. Now, the Fair Isaac Corporation, or FICO, is the most popular credit scoring system used in over 90% of all lending decisions. And you have more than one FICO score. You'll have a FICO credit score for each of your 3 credit reports. In other words, you'll have a unique FICO score based upon the information contained in your Equifax credit report, along with a unique FICO score for your TransUnion credit report, and likewise with Experian. Further, there's also industry-specific FICO scores. For instance, if you're in the process of buying a home, the mortgage industry has a unique FICO algorithm, and that's different than the car industry. There's also a Vantage score. For our purposes, you only need to concern yourself with the FICO score. And these are the 5 components that go into your credit score, along with roughly how much value or weight the FICO algorithm will assign them. And the first and most powerful and most influential is your payment history, worth about 35% of your total credit score. Your payment history is looking at all the positive and all the negative accounts on your credit report. This is where any late or missed payments will appear, and this is the most important component of your credit score, again, worth about 35%. Number 2 is amounts owed. Your amounts owed component is examining how much total debt you have and comparing that to your available and unused credit. This component is worth about 30% of your overall score. Look, having substantial debt such as student loans or a mortgage isn't necessarily bad for your credit score. The emphasis is on revolving credit lines, for instance, an unsecured credit card, along with having available and unused credit. And it makes sense too. And let's use an example. If you were to apply to finance a new car and you have a credit card with a $1,000 limit and your monthly balance is $977, you'd only have $23 of available and unused credit. You'd appear as a more risky applicant compared to someone with the same credit card and only a $300 monthly balance. They'd appear to be in a more secure financial position as a result of having $700 of available and unused credit and would naturally be viewed by lenders as a less risky applicant. You may have heard this called your credit utilization ratio. In brief, it's essential to have available and unused credit or a good utilization ratio to earn a good credit score. And if you'd like to know more, we're going to include a link in the description below over to an article on our website for the full story. We also have a free report available there, the 7 proven ways to boost your credit score. Now, the third component was your length of credit history. Your length of credit history is naturally looking at how long you as an individual have been using credit, but it's also looking at the age of each specific account on your credit reports. Generally speaking, the older the better. However, this isn't somewhere to invest your energy because with normal use, you ought to be all right, and it's only worth about 15% of your overall credit score. Number 4 is your credit mix. Your credit mix is looking at what types of credit you use. Do you have a mortgage, student loan, car payments? The idea is the more diverse, the better, but this is only worth about 10% of your overall credit score. And the final component is new credit. Just like it sounds, your new credit is looking at how often you're applying for new lines of credit. You're not supposed to be penalized for doing some normal interest rate shopping, and the big takeaway is we want to avoid looking like we're trying to buy a new boat every weekend. And again, this is only worth about 10% of your overall credit score, and with normal use, you ought to be all right. And if you'd like some help, you can get a free credit report consultation by calling toll-free 1-844-517-7627. Again, that's for a free credit report consultation, and the toll-free phone number is 1-844-517-7627. And of course, subscribe and join our congregation because coming up next, we're going to be talking about 7 ways to rebuild your credit. This is Dan Willis. We're going to include a link in the description below over to an article on our website for the full story. We also have a free report available there, the 7 proven ways to boost your credit score. And of course, subscribe and join our congregation. As we mentioned, coming up next, we're talking about 7 ways to rebuild your credit. So of course, subscribe. Have a wonderful day and looking forward to talking to you again here soon.